How to price your bookkeeping services. My name is Zach Pasquarello. I have been running my own bookkeeping business for the past 4 years. I make these videos because genuinely I love talking about my bookkeeping business, and I also really like teaching other people. Right now, I have 82 bookkeeping clients. I do all the work myself. They're paying me on average about $500 per month, which means I'm making more than $40,000 per month just for my monthly bookkeeping clients. So I take all of the lessons that I've learned over the past 4 years and I give my advice to people on YouTube. And so that's kind of my passion right now. I don't really know why I'm doing this. Honestly, truthfully, I don't need to be making these videos, but I really enjoy it. So let's just cut right to it. Let's talk about it. There's different ways that you can price your services. Let's just jump right into it. We can do hourly, we can do a fixed rate, we can offer different types of services, we can work remotely, we can work in office, QuickBooks desktop, payroll, hourly, accounts payable, accounts receivable. I'm going to break down everything. And I sell a couple things. Check out all the links in the description of this video. Blah, blah, blah. Got a course. Of course I do. Okay, let's talk about it. So whenever I was getting started 4 years ago, I was desperate to find clients. I was brand new. I was still working my full-time job. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to quote people. So everything I'm about to talk about is just everything that I have had to figure out on my own. So hopefully, if you all watch this video, you can learn from my mistakes and just fast track to all the success that I've had over the past 4 years. A lot of this depends on how desperate you are to get your first client. I hate calling it desperate, but let's be honest. If you're brand new, you're trying to quit your full-time job, you've got kids, you're married, maybe you're living in your parents' basement and you want to move out, whatever it is, you might be desperate, and that's totally okay. That's a great place to be because that means you're going to work harder than you ever have before. So when I was just getting started, I actually took a bookkeeping client for $25 per hour, and I was so happy. There's no shame. I was thrilled to just get one of my first clients, and they were a big client. They were offering me 20 hours a month. So 20 hours at $25 an hour. What is that? $500 a month, I think. Maybe you guys can check my math on that. $500 a month for 20 hours. I was so happy to get that. So I took my first client and they were paying me hourly. It was all remote, so that was cool. But I never work hourly ever again. I don't recommend anybody do it. It's okay if you're brand new in the beginning and not sure how to quote, but working hourly makes you feel like an employee. You have to keep track of your time. You have to explain to your clients why you worked more hours this month than you did last month. You have to log into your time tracker every single day. If you work less, if you work more efficiently in fewer hours this month, you actually get paid less. You get less of a reward for working more efficiently because you're working faster. So just none of that works well with an entrepreneur mindset. So I never bill hourly. I only do a fixed monthly rate. Let me just say, there is one example where I will bill hourly, but I've tweaked it so that it can feel like a fixed rate. So if somebody comes to me with a very miscellaneous project that is not my standard bookkeeping services, I usually say no, but sometimes I'll take on the project and I bill $100 per hour. So the way I make this work is I'll tell people I have no idea how long this is going to take. What I can tell you is that I will work on this project for 4 hours. I work at $100 per hour. So I will bill you $400 up front. That's the key with all this. I want to get paid up front. It's just a business. I got to protect myself first. I want to get paid up front. That way there's no chance of me chasing down accounts receivable. That's the last thing I want to do. 4 hours, $100 an hour, paid up front. The key is, if I can fix this for you in 4 hours, then we're all good. But if it's going to take me longer, then 4 hours will be enough time for me to diagnose what's going on. I'll look at what you have. I'll work as hard as I can to solve your issues in 4 hours. If I can't, then I'll let you know what it's going to take to fix it. Maybe I need an extra 5 hours, extra 10 hours. Maybe this is a really big project, much bigger than either of us anticipated. It's going to take an extra 20 hours to work on this. But at the very least, you get me for 4 hours. I'll work my hardest, see if I can fix it. And if I can't, I'll at least diagnose it and let you know next steps. And that way you're not going all in for a 20-hour project. We're going to both protect ourselves. 4 hours, $400, paid up front. But the key is, and I try to craft this wording professionally and clearly and concisely. I tell them if I solve the project in less than 4 hours, it's still going to be $400. So if I can work really efficiently and figure out everything in 2 hours, I'm not going to refund you $200. You're basically paying like a retainer, a non-refundable retainer, and I'll work as hard as I can for 4 hours. If I solve it, great, we both win. I did it in less time and you got your issues fixed. Great. That's the only time I would really work hourly right now. And then we're also looking at working in office. Do you work hourly in office? Are you paid to travel to your clients' offices? To me, this just feels even more like being an employee. So I don't work in office for anybody, no matter what. No matter what, I will not work in office. Everything I do is remotely. In the very beginning, I took a couple clients in office and it just wasn't for me. I didn't like it. I felt like an employee. I felt like I had my boss looking over my shoulder. I don't do it. I only work remotely. And I couldn't grow my business while I was in their office. I couldn't take phone calls. I couldn't work on marketing. I had to work on their bookkeeping the entire time, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But as a business owner, you know there's a lot more that goes into running your business than just doing bookkeeping for your clients. So you got to work remotely in the comfort of your own home, at your own office, so that you have the freedom and flexibility to grow your business at the same time you're doing bookkeeping. So I don't work hourly. I don't work in people's offices. And then let's talk about the services that I provide. I don't do QuickBooks Desktop. I don't do payroll. I don't do other miscellaneous tasks because I'm a bookkeeping expert and a QuickBooks Online expert. So that enables me to work really efficiently. So I can offer people a fixed rate, maybe $500 to do your bookkeeping. And if you wanted me to work in QuickBooks Desktop, or if you wanted me to do your payroll or maybe help out with taxes, I don't know how to do that. So that's going to take me more time. And if you're an entrepreneur or if you're anybody, your time is very valuable. So if I'm offering to do this task for $500 per month and I don't really know how to do it, or I'm not a QuickBooks Desktop expert, it might take me 5 or 6 hours. But if I only do QuickBooks Online, I only do bookkeeping, and I charge $500, I could probably get it done in 2 to 3 hours. So the same task, the same job, different software. One might take me 5 to 6 hours. One might take me 2 to 3 hours. And you can already do the math. This is how you're going to be able to grow your business, take on more clients, work more efficiently, and ultimately make more money. That's kind of the whole point. That's why we're all here. We want to start a bookkeeping business. We want to grow a bookkeeping business. We want to make more money. That's the whole idea. Okay, now let's really talk about how to price your bookkeeping services. With my fixed rate, it's really, really simple. I just look at people's transactions. And when you're quoting somebody, you can do one of two things. Request access to their QuickBooks Online account only if it's updated and accurate. Only do this if they already have QuickBooks and their bank accounts and credit cards are connected to the bank feed. That's the only way this works, because otherwise getting access to somebody's QuickBooks is pretty much useless if they don't have it updated. The other way, if they don't have QuickBooks or it's not updated, request their three most recent bank statements and credit card statements. And we're doing the same thing, whether you get the statements or the access to QuickBooks, we're doing the exact same thing. In both of these scenarios, we're simply looking at their transactions. More specifically, we're looking at their most recent transactions, 3 most recent months. So if it's December 2024, you're going to look at November, October, and September. Don't look at December because it's not a full month. It's not going to give you a clear picture of a full month of transactions. And we're just going to add the transactions across bank statements and credit cards. Maybe loan accounts if you want, but loan accounts, maybe lines of credit, but loan accounts are usually just once a month transfer. Not a big deal. Bank accounts, lines of credit, and credit card accounts. Count the transaction every time they swipe their credit card, every time they write a check, every time they pull from their line of credit, every time they send a wire, every time they use their debit card, every time they send an ACH, every time they do a bank deposit. You get the idea. Count every single transaction. And if you get the bank statements, it might take you 10 minutes, but just go down the bank statement and count the transactions. If you get access to QuickBooks, go to the bank feed, look at the 3 most recent months and count up the transactions that have been categorized and also are not categorized in the bank feed waiting to be recorded. Count up all the transactions and then divide by 3. Now we know the average number of monthly transactions. And then you've got a couple options. And this depends on your experience. It depends on the area that you live in for cost of living. And it depends on how desperate you are for a client. I'll just tell you, for me, when I was getting started, I was charging $2 per transaction. And that seemed to work pretty well. A lot of people said yes, and I was really happy with my hourly rate. Since then, I've upped that to $3 per transaction. And the funny thing is, just as many people still said yes, and I was even happier with my hourly rate based on how much I was charging them and how much time it really took me to do my bookkeeping. Everybody asked me this, so I'm just going to say it in the video. Each client takes me anywhere from about 5 minutes to 45 minutes per week. 5 to 45 minutes per week. So 45 minutes per week, that ends up being 3 hours per month at the top end. And my clients pay me on average $500 per month. So some clients only take 20 minutes per month and some take 3 hours per month. But either way, I'm still making well over $100 per hour with my fixed billing, my fixed quoting rate. So $2 or $3 per transaction. Now, of course, if you live in Los Angeles or New York City, it's going to be more. If you live in a lower cost of living area, it's going to be less. If you have a ton of experience like me, if you're not really looking for new clients like me, maybe charge $3, maybe charge $4 per transaction. If you're desperate, if you don't have any clients and like you're just praying for a Christmas miracle that you get your first client, maybe $2 per transaction. I also have a minimum, no matter what, $250 per month. My minimum used to be $200. So maybe if you're just getting started, $200 per month. And also you're going to come across people who have multiple businesses. So I have, in rare situations, somebody came to me, they have 4 businesses. Like 2 businesses are pretty busy, 1 not so busy, and 1 is like dormant. No matter what, I still charge per entity. I have gone as low as $150 per month for like a company that basically has nothing, maybe like 5 transactions per month. But I only did that because they have multiple companies. So if you only have one company, $250 per month, bare minimum. If you have 2 companies, bare minimum, $200 per month. If you have more than 2, bare minimum, let's just say $150 per month. Let's say you've got 3 companies. One's really busy, that's $500. The second one, not so busy, that's $200. The third one, like nothing going on, $150. You still got to charge per company because you still have to reconcile those accounts. You still have to record the couple transactions per month. So no matter what, I have that minimum set in place. And then I also offer accounts payable and accounts receivable management. So this is like above and beyond just traditional bookkeeping. So my services just include categorizing your transactions, reconciling your accounts, and generating your financial reports. That's all I do for the $500 per month on average for my clients. But I have like 5 or 6 clients who I go above and beyond. I track and manage their accounts payable and accounts receivable. And for both, I do full cycle. So I record the AP and AR in QuickBooks, and then I send it to their customers, or I pay it with their online business banking account, or their credit card. And then I track it in QuickBooks. So when it gets paid, I mark it as paid. When they receive the payment, I mark the invoice as paid. When it comes into the bank feed, of course, I record the transactions, match it to the received payment, match it to the bill payment, full cycle, start to finish, recording in QuickBooks all the way to getting paid by the customer and paying the bills and recording the bank transaction. I do everything except for physically going to the bank and depositing people's checks. I can even electronically mail checks for bill payment from people's online business banking account. So I can pay people via ACH, I can electronically mail checks, and I can send invoices through QuickBooks using QuickBooks as a payment processor. So I can do full cycle. And the way I quote this, $5 per accounts payable per month. And it's not it doesn't go up and down. It's a fixed rate. So just like with the bookkeeping quote, I'll look at their 3 most recent months and I'll average out their accounts payable and I'll give them a fixed rate. Accounts receivable, $10 per invoice. And same thing. I'll look at the 3 most recent months, average it out. Bare minimum, $100. No matter what, $100, bare minimum. Okay, let's wrap up this video. What's next? What is next for you and your bookkeeping business? Maybe you're like me and you're tapped out and you can't really take on any more clients. Are you trying to grow your business? I'm just kind of talking to myself right now because I am at that point now where everybody's asking me, are you going to hire somebody? When are you going to hire somebody? I want to work with you. You need to save your time. You got too much going on. Like you got too many clients. How can you keep up with that? Can you ever take a vacation? You need work-life balance. Try hiring independent contractors. You don't have to hire full-time employees. Just hire a subcontractor. I hear it every day from other people, family, friends, and myself included. I hear it every day. I think about it every day. If you're like me, I understand the struggle because transitioning from being a bookkeeper to managing other bookkeepers is a totally different job. Totally different. Like right now, I'm just managing myself and my bookkeeping clients. If I hire people, now all of a sudden, I'm going to have to check their work, manage them, help them, answer their problems. And that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just a very different job. So I need to do some soul searching. I need to decide, do I want to do that? If you've been following along my journey, follow me on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn if you haven't already, but I've been talking about private money lending. That's where I'm going in the future. We'll see. I'm going to keep my bookkeeping business for sure, but I'm definitely pivoting. So I'm not sure what's going to happen to my YouTube channel. I'm not sure what's going to happen to my bookkeeping business. I'm definitely going to pivot, but we'll see what happens in 2025. So if you've made it this far, thank you so much for your support. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought. Like the video and stay tuned for the next video.